the end of the day, we do need to know. The government must be clear about where this money is coming from which budget. But on the fact that we don't even know the sums, this is taxpayers' money. How can any government justify these extraordinary sums? I will give way.
Thank you. What is agreed universally is that the cost is £9 billion. The government doesn't question that at all. Whether there's front-loading or not, we don't yet know. But assume that it's £90 million a year for 99 years. A lot of people in the media and in politics seem to have a problem with basic arithmetic and compounding. 90 million a year, index linked at 3%, is £52 billion. It is a completely eye-watering sum, and I'm very surprised that the opposition, His Majesty's loyal opposition, are not using that number, or perhaps they're just so embarrassed that they began the negotiations themselves. I don't know.
I think the bottom line to all of this is that there is no transparency from this government at all, and we will absolutely press the government and hold them to account on this.
Nigel Farage has once again taken aim at the government, this time calling out former Home Secretary Priti Patel for what he describes as a fundamental lack of mathematical understanding and a failure of transparency regarding a staggering £9 billion cost. The Brexit campaigner and GB News presenter did not mince his words as he criticized the government's handling of the issue, highlighting what he believes to be a wider problem within Westminster: a detachment from financial reality and an unwillingness to be upfront with the public. At the heart of Farage's attack is the government's inability or unwillingness to provide clear and comprehensible details about the £9 billion expenditure. The specifics of the spending remain murky, and for many, the lack of transparency raises serious concerns about accountability in public finances. Farage, never one to shy away from controversy, framed the situation as yet another example of politicians struggling with basic arithmetic while expecting taxpayers to foot the bill. Speaking on his show, Farage accused Patel of dodging crucial questions and failing to provide concrete figures when pressed on the matter. This is a government that either cannot do basic math or deliberately avoids it, he remarked, pointing to what he sees as a broader trend of financial mismanagement and misleading statements from officials. Farage's criticisms are not without precedent. Over the years, numerous political figures have been caught out when challenged on economic figures, leading to public embarrassment and eroding trust in the government's ability to handle finances responsibly. The £9 billion debate has only added fuel to the fire, with opposition parties and commentators seizing the moment to call for greater scrutiny. While Patel has not directly responded to Farage's accusations, government officials have downplayed the issue, insisting that public spending remains under control. Yet, without clear and detailed explanations, skepticism continues to mount. For Farage, this episode is more than just a numbers game. It's about integrity and governance. He has positioned himself as a champion of transparency, holding politicians to account when they appear to evade scrutiny. His attack on Patel underscores a growing frustration among voters who feel disconnected from the decision-making processes affecting public funds. As Westminster grapples with yet another controversy, the question remains: will this latest embarrassment force the government to be more transparent with taxpayers? Or will it be yet another instance of politicians dodging responsibility while public confidence erodes further? For now, Farage has made his stance clear. Basic math should not be optional in government.
Well, this is part of Mr Keir Starmer's plans to increase defence spending 2.5% of GDP by 2027, up from the current figure of 2.3%. So we are talking about 0.2%
It's nothing. It's no. They're trying to make out it's a huge increase. It's not. Here's what he had to say.
We will keep our manifesto commitment to spend 2.5% of our GDP on defence. But in light of the grave threats that we face, we will bring forward that target so we meet it in 2027. We will also set out a clear ambition for defence spending to rise to 3% of GDP in the next Parliament. We will fund the initial increase in defence spending by cutting our spending on overseas development, moving from 0.5% of GNI to 0.3%.
This man does my head in. He really does. It sounds as if it's the end of the world. It sounds as if he's announcing, we've been invaded and you're all going to die in your beds. It's not. He's cut back on foreign aid budget and he's spending it where he should be spending it, on the British Armed Forces, okay? So you've got all the critics of the government and they're saying these are broken promises. There was a manifesto pledge. You would increase foreign aid. Didn't ask me, as I said, but there we go. Did they ask you? Is this decision just a move to woo President Trump? Yes.
Yes, it's true. President Trump thinks we should do more, and I agree with him. It chimes with my thinking on this. So this is very much my decision based on my assessment of the circumstances that we face as a country. And it is taken first and foremost to ensure that the United Kingdom and its citizens are safe and secure. That is the first duty that I have as Prime Minister.
Then why is he acting so miserable about it?
Well, he's trying to be the strong man on the world stage.
He's not trying, he's incredibly weak. He should be saying, right, this is our money, this is what we're going to do with it, we're going to protect our people.
Well, he says...
But he's just going, we've got on the world stage, and we've got to make sure everybody's okay, and we're going to have to do this. I'll grow a pair, for goodness sake.
As the UK government moves to increase defence spending to 2.5% of GDP by 2027, Labour leader Keir Starmer finds himself in a familiar position, criticizing from the sidelines while failing to offer a credible alternative. Starmer's approach to defense policy, like much of his leadership, seems dictated more by political expediency than by any clear vision for Britain's security or global standing. The government's decision to prioritize military funding over foreign aid has drawn sharp criticism, particularly from Labour, which accuses Rishi Sunak of breaking promises and aligning with Donald Trump's defense-first mentality. But beneath the outrage, one thing is conspicuously missing: any concrete Labour policy on defence. Starmer has spent much of his tenure trying to reassure voters that Labour is no longer the anti-military Corbynite party that once entertained scrapping Trident. Yet, when faced with an actual debate on defence spending, Labour remains vague and non-committal, unwilling to take a firm stance. If 2.5% of GDP is too much, what does Starmer propose instead? Does he support the cuts to foreign aid, or would he reverse them? These are questions he and his shadow cabinet refuse to answer. Starmer's indecision on defence funding is part of a broader pattern of Labour's historical weakness on national security. While Sunak's leadership on the global stage has been criticized as uninspiring, at least the government is taking tangible steps to modernize the military and reinforce Britain's NATO commitments under Starmer. Labour has made no clear commitments to defence investment. While he may try to present himself as a pragmatist, many within his own party, including senior Labour figures, still harbour anti-military and isolationist tendencies. Starmer has yet to prove he can stand up to the left-wing factions of his party and ensure that Labour remains committed to Britain's role in NATO and global security. With a general election approaching, voters deserve clarity. Will Labour commit to matching the government's defence spending targets, or will it cut military funding in favour of other priorities? Does Starmer believe foreign aid is more important than national security? Or is this just another convenient attack line? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts below and join the conversation on Telegram.